We're just at the last seconds of warm-up. We're going to have, it looks like, turrets and totems everywhere as Eisen and Galena are going to be on the map for both teams.
My God, that's a lot of obstruction.
And Cooler is on camera first. He's going to get himself the mega health. He's looking for weapons. Does destroy the first totem spawned by the enemy Galena. Galena. It's Yenim running the Galena, by the way, and Ved Medic is running the Eisen over on Last Chance.
Now, an Awoken controlling sort of railgun room is so important. You know, as long as you control this half of the map, there are so many important bags, but going in for a bunch of jumps is not going to be enough because that 100 damage to start the fight for Cooler is going to make him very impressive indeed if he's now going to bag one of those frags. As he's going to be respawning, it's going to be a free heavy because there's no one about to contest it. And now he can kind of just sit here and be defensive with his rails and his rockets so they try and push forward.
Definitely. And there is a strat sometimes which is just hold this position and don't even explore the other sides of the map. If you've got this position, never let go at all. But there is a 1v1 takes place between Ved and Toxic. Cooler looking to keep a clean slate and avoid death completely. He's been getting all the frags for his team at the moment. Misses the shotgun blast. That's going to allow Yenim to get himself on the board.
That super shotgun is such big risk, big reward. Like the amount of damage you can get from point blank versus if you miss, you're just completely out in the open with nothing to try and fight back with. Dead Medic running out of rockets as well, actually, and not much health left in the tank. He's going to pop the tome to try and keep himself alive just a little bit. Just provide that extra assistance. Wonderful place to use the tome, in fact, because that's such a constant, accessible area there coming through, especially seeing as the quad's just about to spawn. Dead Medic. Wonderful choice to go down there with a shotgun. He could not survive that at all.
No, exactly. They went for the spam shots too. Heavy is going to be taken away by Yenim, so it is a nice steal at this stage. Cooler doesn't have a lot to run around with. I wonder if he wants to sort of push in aggressively around some corners and try go for kills, or if he's going to be a little bit more reserved. I'm expecting the latter, to be fair, but now with that light armor in hand, things could change.
Had to waste a little bit of extra time just trying to survive, but some two excellent rails, and that really is the kind of like sort of reactionary aiming that Ved Medic has become very famous for in a short space of time.
That's going to be the quad. Fading away now. Ved, he does manage to get himself onto the heavy armor. I like the trickery around the bounce pad, actually. That was pretty sweet from him.
No damage taken either. Like, that was just finesse right there. Toxic, 2 for the price of 1. Can he win this 1v1 versus Cooler? Looking unlikely now, but hang on, maybe not. There's the rocket. That is just making 2 of the best players in the world look easy in that exchange. What the hell?
He's stringing them together now. Almost gets the rail over on Cooler. He's got to watch out. There's going to be a turret down. Rocket's not looking too bad. He's supporting his teammate first, even though the target is just beside him. His health is pretty low, but the resources are starting to respawn now. 1 versus 1 with Cooler. Cooler's a little bit early.
Oh my God, die hard.
Connects nicely for him. We've got Tox at upper T. Strings together a rail as well. He's railable himself, so he does want to watch out a little bit. But there's a health bubble. Rails are going to keep coming up, but he does eat this one.
That felt like it hit me in the face. You even saw a chunk of brain. That was savage.
Well, we got Yenim as well. He's being hot with his rockets, and he's going to get himself another kill. His stack is unbelievably good, and that's the last heavy armor before protection spawns. Again, if you can retain this amount of armor, leading towards the... Oh, my God! He sends it through the hole! You see that so rarely. Amazing stuff from Yenim.
That was just like a tennis ball right there. that was a serve if I've ever seen one. Here comes Yenim, though, looking absolutely fantastic. And the fact they got this sequence so soon to protection spawning is just wonderful. Toxic, he's going to get a tri-bolt kill on Ved Medic, which is fantastic, but they need a lot more than that. And Yenim just has the stack to end all stacks. And the fact that protection's there just makes it even worse.
There's the rocket jump out. Absolutely worth investing in this. He's even getting himself the mega, looking for rail. The tri-bolt is slightly annoying, but he's got all the energy to stick with this. And Ved, actually, he's getting the job done for him. It's like, all right, mate, stop slacking.
I still want to get the kills, mate. The high-right reel is mine and mine only. Excellent rail from Yenim, and it's like you said, right? Allowing Ved Medic to just pop off, and it's Yenim's sort of like control. On the flip side, no rails. This man refuses to miss. Refuses to miss.
His rail's looking amazing. Rocket, it's not going to quite hit. There's Ved up at the top. He's going to find another down below, waiting for the shotgun. God. It's perfect weapon selection from Yenim. This is unbelievable play from him.
It's just constant. It's the right weapon for the right time. It's perfect reads. You know, Toxic kind of forced between a rock and a hard place, yeah, but he didn't have to go up that jump pad, and Yenim was just ready.
How many rails in a row has he hit now?
At least 5.
5, 6, around that area. That's already fantastic. I find it with Kirsten catch up. Sorry,
it's kind kind of crazy to me that we're watching a match with Toxic in it, and he's not the one that's landing every single rail. Like, it's just one of those unheard of circumstances, I suppose. And unfortunately, I think we might have cursed it, missing another rail.
Well, the law of averages is going to play out in the end, but he's landed another on Tox up the bounce pad. Oh, Cooler's really quick to react with the nose that he had eyes on him from the lower hallway.
I must admit, I'm completely blown away by just that entire sequence that we just saw. The two players of Last Chance looking untouchable. And it was the perfect moment. And actually kind of looks like they're doing it again. They're getting more kills now. They're unreturned. We're now 13 seconds away from the quad damage. However, this 2v1 should be good for them. Tox incredibly weak. Arguably can't really fight for this next power-up.
Just a reminder, this is also AMD's map pick. You guys draw your own conclusions. Fed with another double, leading over to that quad damage. His health number's not brilliant, but the heavy spawns in 5 seconds, so if he can just hold an angle and play a run into him, oh, he's checking. You can see the little feet walking around.
Watch out! Oh. My word. Yeah, there's 2v1. This should be a little bit of defensive tri-bomb, but it's not going to be enough to deter Vedmedic at all. Their objective is going to be to run away as fast as possible. Last Chance, almost 10 kills. Actually, that's going to be 10 kills now. The impossible to miss rail point blank is going to make them 10 kills ahead. Make that 11.
It's got a couple of seconds left of it, but it should fade away. Still being a very positive run for him. The damage output, it continues. Yedam's going to clean up that kill.
Some of these rails that it's just insane how he is hitting some of these shots. Like, absolutely out of this world.
Like, we're seeing amazing shape from Yenam, but he's got 11 kills. But Ved's got 16. He's 16 for 8. He's the type of player, though, he can have the most unbelievable kill-death ratio, but he's got no slow down button. It could also go very wrong, but we're seeing the absolute best from him now.
Yeah, fortunately, Awoken's a good map for sort of never taking your foot off the gas. It's so small, it's so short. You can get good reads on the respawns. These reactionary rockets finally misses one, but I think that would have been a dead caller if he finally landed it, but they are given somewhat of a green light there. But it feels like it's not enough at this stage. AMD, I'm never going to count them out. They could definitely bring this one back, but this is quite a difference in kills to face against.
Oh, this is going to go down in the end. He couldn't get that health bubble. I think that's taken by his teammate. We've got about 30 seconds left now until we get over to protection. Toxa with a full natural stack and that freshly spawned overstacked health. And they just want to hold still. There's going to be that heavy in a moment. They should be able to take this and then make their way back. He's pressing forward just to get rid of that threat, and then I think they're going to want to move back. But look at that, Ved's taken a position and they've lost out on it. There's 10 seconds to go for the power-up.
I thought them jumping down towards the pickup was almost like something that Yenam was completely ready for, but they've completely swapped the momentum, and but the two of them pushing in together might have been a mistake. However, Cooler is able to pick up the pieces and secure those 2 kills, rewarding them with protection. It's so important that they get the maximum amount out of this protection too. They're so far behind.
Yeah, we get to see Tox with a little bit of protection. Gets was that the rail through the teleport? That was pretty sweet. Gonna find another up at the top. Ved takes a lot of damage. He's almost surprised that he didn't die beforehand. Has to go with that cheeky rail right at the end. There is the mega health for him just as his stack was getting critically low.
Okay, so the protection has given AMD somewhat of a lifeline. Not only the fact that the protection got them some kills, but they were able to secure the mega as well. That's going to be topped up comfortably because of just how many totems are controlled on this side of the map, and control's the magic word here. They need to win this 2v2. All right, Cooler gets one.
Nice.
Vedmedic falls again. And now here comes that snowball effect. If AMD can control this and keep it, they're in a much better position, but a lot of damage is being done to Toxic. Cooler consistently just being in the right place to finish them off.
We've got Cooler, who's top fragging for AMD, by the way, with 17. We're seeing Tox with 9 for 15 at the moment, so maybe having a little bit of a harder time getting on. He's got a lot of assists, though. He's rocking 8 assists, which is very good. You can see those totems that I'd just spotted earlier, the ones just on the outskirts of the map where you've really got to look a little bit hard to find it. It's going to be very important for Last Chance to get rid of those totems as soon as possible. Tox is so stacked. Is he going to be able to go for the 1 versus 2 here? He's not going to push past that choke point.
He wants to just take that frag and sort of run with it. Goes in for the defensive tome, which is just going to be such a block. However, perfect time for Ved to run in, just kind of catching the off rhythm of those rockets from Tox.
Cooler was incredibly weak there, so there's a strong position for Ved and Yenam to hold. And there's the heavy coming up in a moment. I think they're going to pick that, or try to at least, and then get themselves over to the power, but it's not going to go to them. AMD managed to get the heavy in the end. And there's going to be mega health spawning. I think they might go for this and then head over.
It's a perfect time to try and defend, though. Toxic is going to go in for... I mean, he's pretty much just completely fortified. And there's that quad damage. And it's kind of almost like a flip of momentum to the point where AMD are only slightly behind, but the ambush! Wow, Ved just running in at the perfect time.
There's like that misdirect up from the connector, and then Ved just goes through the teleport. This guy, as I said, does not have a slowdown button. He's going to keep charging you. And look at this, like 300 collective health and armor. This guy's looking for frags in the last 10 seconds of quad, and I think he's figured out where they are.
He needs to get at least one, but unfortunately, actually, it feels like AMD was so fortified that Ved almost like hesitated running in. Oh, Rail actually saving him from the ring out, it felt like.
That Tribot has got to dodge it, sees that the spam's gone, but the Cooler's rocket connects in the chest. They are coming back a little bit. We had a dominant lead earlier, but it's really within sight for AMD now. They could make it all the way back on their map pick.
I mean, the totems have been a massive pain in the backside. They really have been. The fact that AMD spent a good few minutes being able to kind of sit towards power up and just fortify and heal up. Every time a fight happened, they just retreat, get health from the totem, go back in nice and healthy. Last chance weren't able to really pick it up, and actually looks like a comeback very impressively is being made by AMD. The sheer amount of kills they've been able to bring back, even before they've taken the lead, is impressive enough.
Yeah, it feels like Yenem and Aveda are not able to get the 2 versus 1s going as much as possible, which might be a sort of a mid-map call from Cooler and Tox. Like, right, we need to tighten up our positioning and how we support each other because we're individually getting caught out a lot right now. So making those mid-round calls is incredibly important. Good rockets though from Ved. That's going to put him over to the 40 mark. He tries to make a switch, but Cooler with some solid LG himself.
As long as the Mega's going to get taken, it's going to be good for them at the very least. That defensive rocket's going to give Cooler some information as we go in towards this protection. But the concern I've got is, even though an impressive comeback is being sort of mounted here by AMD, they were so far behind for most of the map that was the divide too great? The last chance just need to simply stay solid and just kind of trickle it down.
Got protection in a second. Ved, he is rushing in. Cooler, he might not be able to survive this, but he's getting that overstack heal from behind, and he gets the health bubble. Tox is the one who's going to get protection. And last chance, they've been leaking a few too many power-ups lately. They're going to have to survive. Otherwise, this lead that they've had for so long is going to vanish.
Protection applying to all add-ons with these abilities, making life really difficult. Toxic taking huge damage, but not really fussed. He's a little bit worried now. He's only got 30. But Cooler tried to run in and finish the job, and even though Toxic has protection, he has to be super careful.
It's actually insane how long Yenem and Ved stuck around in that fight at the LG room, and they didn't even die to Tox in the end.
That was just impressive stuff. Oh no. Toxic saying, did you forget about me? Oof. Forgot about the tri-bolt though.
He's got the tri-bolt himself, and he is going to get the frag down. But that totem's been alive in the corner for, it feels like 7-8 minutes time.
Yeah, it feels like at no time have they just kind of turned around and deleted it. But with them not taking it out, kind of just gives AMD that luxury of being able to essentially say, hey, look, we have this guaranteed source of health that they're just not dealing with. Toxic catches him off guard. Now Ved's going to fall down. But this is kind of what I was talking about. Was the lead so significant? Do they simply just need to trickle it away? There's the defensive rail. Really important for Tox to continue to land those.
Yenem and Ved are getting caught out 1 versus 2 and 1 versus 1. Way too much. Up bounce pads. Sometimes Ved, not being able to slow down, it just means he's pushing around corners, which he simply just shouldn't be pushing around. There's just so much pressure. Tox is taking a lot of damage. He gets the heavy, but he gets no value from it whatsoever. Cooler manages to refrag, but Yenem, he counters it. He's so low, and we're getting frag after frag. Eventually, that's a 2-for-2 exchange, which is still favoring last chances. They're only 4 away now from taking map number 1 versus AMD.
And this is what I was concerned about, is that the start of the map just went so disastrously for AMD, and it was the fact that last chance were popping off so severely. However, we are about to see a quad, and controlling the power-up is something that last chance have failed to do. There's the totem. Watch out for that one. That might be the game over because it's going to allow the quad completely uncontested.
Yeah, and the heavy has been taken. I think Ved is like, okay, watch out for the spawn for that, but there is nothing there for the moment. Ved is like, I want to go in first, just to act as a sponge for you, where you can start taking more frags. But the turret is what takes down the quad in the end. Ved is going to be able to come back. They eventually clean up that turret. And they've done a little bit of his own damage, maybe even thinking going through the teleporter, but they're losing out on items.
That was such an amazing rail angle, and Toxic with the pickup. We only have a little bit of quad left, but with the fact that we only need 1 more kill, does that matter? That's 1 rail, that's 1 rocket! Oh my god, the pickup was so important! Toxic gets 1!
There's 48 for 48. Tox searching for those rockets, the quads run out. They're trying to get the frags from the top. There's 1 more kill needed for AMD.
Oh my god!
It's 49 for 49. Last frag is going to determine the map victor. They found 1 on the tele exit. Can they 2v1 him? They don't push through the angle completely.
They have to watch out for Tox. They're so worried about where Tox might be laying in wait. This is going to be a 2v2, but only 1 frag is going to win the map. Watch out for Medic. Don't run off too far ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at the overall health and armor situation. AMD is definitely in charge on that. But again,
After that rocket, though?
rocket damage. Maybe, oh, the damage comes out just in time. Cooler and Tox, you could see the damage from the toy, but then suddenly down from Banana. They clear up the 50th kill, and by the skin of their teeth, are going to take the lead in the series.
That just felt like such an almost like borderline anticlimactic way for that map to end, that you're building up so much of how is this fight going to go, and then you snap your fingers and, oh, someone's dead? What?
Exactly. The way the damage came in, those opponents were barely visible, but they just snuck in at the right moment. I mean, it was brilliant, like, just subliminal coordination, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'll go with that.
For the record, we're looking at the end game stats. Cooler 29, Toxic 21, and I didn't get to see the portraits.
I think it was 28 for Ved and something.
It was basically the scoreboard there was 29-21, 28-21. That was as even as it gets.
Really, really even. But you gotta say though, Ved and Yenim in the lead for pretty much all of the map until quite literally the last frag. They managed to throw in the end. They were over 10 frags advantage beforehand.
They were indeed. And to be honest, the real game changer at the very end was just how perfectly AMD essentially used the haste of Last Chance against them. You know, it was that final moment where Cooler was sitting near the rail room, just near that turn near Mega. He was waiting there because he knew they were going to come around the corner, and he landed a rail. The second he landed his rail, he essentially used himself as bait and retreated. They tried to chase it down. Toxic at that point was already waiting up top to just get that little bit of machine gun damage.
Yeah.
Like, that was such a perfectly calculated attack that gave Toxic the quad, which gave them 2 more kills at the end. Like, just a perfect way to end the map.
I feel like Ved is sometimes his own worst enemy though, because he pushes around corners sometimes. There's no backwards button on his keyboard at all. Although he did show me his keyboard, and it was surprisingly worn out key. He made a point of showing that to me. He's like, I am defensive sometimes, look, I promise. But it just seems in these games that it's just forward, and he always wants to frag, he always wants to continue chasing a further advantage. He's not someone who, if he's got a lead, is suddenly going to turn passive. He'll just keep going forward until, if they lose control, he'll just keep attacking. But that, you know, if a team's expecting that, there is a way to counter it.
And that's kind of what we were always talking about, right? Was that when it comes to the seasoned, experienced players, like Toxic, like Cooler, they are going to have the ability in the middle of a map to kind of do the math there and say, well, clearly something is not working here. Maybe we need to sort of slow down the pace.
And they do.
Maybe we need to sort of force these 2v1s. Whatever it was, it worked absolute wonders, and they inched out the first map. But it's going to be Tempest Shrine for map number 2. A different change of pace, I think you'll agree.
Very, very different. This is a map that was picked by Vedmedic and Yenim. And although they didn't quite sneak out that win on the first map, but it was so close, you know, I'm super curious to see how they're going to perform in their own map pick. We are going to get Eisen and Glenn once again to catch up.
I always felt like Tempest Shrine has kind of always been a popular North American map, even back when Sacrifice was being played.
Yeah, they did like it. There was something about it that they were very good at that the Euros couldn't do as well. Interesting neutral frag at the end. So much damage you had to do with the rockets. Interesting point about this map, though, is how far apart the Mega Health and the Heavy Armor are from each other.
I mean, quite literally one side of the map to the other.
Yeah, and the routes that you've got to create in order to be able to control both is very, very difficult. That's why sometimes we see a lot of light champions, fast, mobile champions on this map, so that you can more easily rotate the 2 of them. Otherwise, you tend to see sort of rail, heavy area, tends to get priority. I think the nail gun jump was missed, so he couldn't quite get the support going versus Toxic, although it was a nice effort from them.
Currently 3-2, so, you know, a little bit of a back and forth at the very beginning. Can only really take so much away from 5 frags at the end of the day, but that said, they catch a wonderful little bit of LG towards the jump pad. Toxic is going to use his, yeah, that's it. Perfect use of the turret to just sort of be that obstruction, waste the time. And a very typical case where Toxic is getting consistently caught out, quote unquote, but he survives long enough for Cooler to arrive and finish the job. Like, it's happening all the time. Like, Cooler's awareness to just run in and be that assistant at the very end after Last Chance to put themselves out of position. It's almost like, we've seen this one before, it's a rerun.
Oh, Cooler, he had such a large stack leading into the quad, but they eventually chipped away at him, and Yenim is going to be able to take the first quad damage of the map. They're going to find them both over at the heavy area. Oh my god, that shotgun blast did so much collateral, but he's only on 25 points of health. Wants to be very careful pushing in any further. Does find the last light armor. gives him a bit more wind in his sails.
You can tell Yenem had a lot of confidence there that Vedmedic could win that 1 versus 1. Yenem had kind of stopped contributing towards that fight period. Has already sort of run off and expecting to find him somewhere else just to get an extra frag. But that said, the defensive play from AMD, very, very smart stuff. And oh my god, what an amazing rail that was.
Unzoomed rails we're getting over here.
Yeah.
I like it. Oh my god.
Oh. The problem is taking damage there has given them information that, yeah, he's near heavy. It's going to allow them to almost like time that now because he's so close to it. Of course, he's going to pick it up.
Yeah, there's the rotation for AMD won't change at all. But they've slowed it down a huge amount. They haven't got the positional control over at heavy or rail side. They're trying to kind of ease their way into it. A 1 versus 1. Cooler picks it up, but a refrag could really hurt his chances of holding on to it. Yenem even goes for the rail through the teleporter. That is really brave. Finds another, and he's hoping now that Ved is going to be able to get the refrag, and he absolutely does so. His stack's not too bad, but he ends up having to give away the heavy armor. And now Yenem, can you finish the job for me? I'm kind of low. Absolutely. Perfect for them.
But that's the level of teamwork that you love to see, right? Where the rail has landed and Vedmedic has already retrieved because he knows that Yenem can just finish the job. It's going to be a 2 versus 2, but a little bit of a staggered one. Toxic coming in at the last second, which gives him that fresh stack to fight back with. And now look at what he's working with. That overstack, good stuff, but the rail's going to weaken him significantly. Can technically tank 2 rails, but only barely.
Here comes protection. Tops just going to put himself on 100-100. Cooler doesn't have the same luxury himself. He's on about 50 or 60 points of health, but it is Yenem going down at a fairly critical time. He's going to hope now to get a good spawn. He does spawn over at the lightning gun, and they're going to make their way through the teleporters in a second. They both, actually no, it's going to be Cooler who comes through. Protection's now up. Yenem's trying to get away, but he gets pinned with the lightning gun. And it's over in the corner side of the map. Cooler has got protection here, a second power up.
That really was entirely all Toxic, allowing that protection to come through. It was just that he had so much to establish control, and the stack meant that he could LG pretty much to his heart's content, and there was no way they could challenge him. Not until Cooler had ended up turning up there. And now with this protection, he's going to guarantee himself Mega, so even if he gets no kills, they're going to get this map control back, which really has kind of just been the golden objective. Yenem's getting deleted, unfortunately, near the hallway, which is a really bad place to get caught out. Nowhere to run.
Cooler's just taking all of the resources at the moment. I think he got heavy, then towards Mega, then another light armor over rail. He's getting all of it, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's going 1 versus 2, it seems like. Where's Tox around? You'd maybe expect him to support in that fight, or Cooler was so stacked he thought he didn't even need the support, and he just went in regardless.
And that was a pretty favorable fight for him as well. Normally, having the high ground in itself is good enough, but when you're near that ledge, you can't jump to evade at all, because you're just going to get LG'd off the cliff and die. Oh,
what
God.
was that shot?
There was just something really satisfying about that one.
LG's going to be enough. Dispatch of that turret. And Tox's health and armor still looking good. Heavy does go, actually goes over to his teammate. Galena's on 150 armor for the moment. And then he's going to be able to get himself the mega health. So they're actually positioning themselves deliberately away from each other so they get to control all of the large items on the map.
Well,
this is dangerous for Last Chance.
It is, and especially as this quad damage is about to spawn. Toxic, he's already established his turret, which is going to be just that extra distraction, which is horrific to deal with. They would think they could probably push this, but Toxic is so stacked, and he just hit that rail too, which has put them pretty far behind. Gonna just try and sit pretty now, dish out some damage, reduce as much as he can take as well, and keep the stack. Yenem dies. He has to try and favor a good spawn now. Hopefully he can get it. If not, they're going to have to give up this quad. He's way too far away to fight, even after Vedmedic got that rail.
What was that combo from Yenem? He goes LG to rail. Oh, it didn't finish it. Okay, another rail. I don't know how he outfought Tox like that. That was surreal. Cooler's got himself onto the quad. See if he can get anything from this. There's a turret. Sneaky, sneaky.
Again, giving them information as to at least where one of them is. Getting caught, unfortunately caught on the stairs, so it's going to stop his momentum. Nothing gained off this quad damage really, except for maybe a rail. No, wrong part down there. One health again. Good God.
Oh. The last second and a half of quad, he still gets the 360 damage out with the railgun. There's some value taken from this.
Oh my God, that's an ambush and a half right there. The amount of damage he must have just taken, the defensive tri-bolt. Good little prediction there, no reason not to. Vedmedic can get the kill on Toxic and Cooler. 2 weeks to try and take a fight so far. Yenem actually, unfortunately, just in the exact same boat there. 2 weak indeed.
They do need to finish off Cooler though. He's picking up a lot of resources. He's coming back to strength. This time he gets pressured, but again they don't finish the job. He just takes a couple of resources, then goes back to pretty much square one. The totem, he doesn't even push on that. Ved's right behind, manages to sandwich them a little bit. But Tox, he wins the one versus Ved.
I really like how sort of massively defensive Toxic has been on this entire map. Like the second there's one of those really important locations, no matter whether it's one of the pickups, whether it's a power-up, he's there before anyone else. And it puts him in such an amazing position to just hit those rail angles that help Cooler later. Or it puts Last Chance so weak, they can't really fight for it. And then one of them will go down before it spawns, they kind of stagger it, they have to go in one at a time. They can't coordinate the way they want to. And I actually remember Machiavelli mentioning this, saying that he always favors AMD on these larger maps because they can collect themselves and make these planned attacks.
Yeah. I mean, there's something very real about the strategic mind of Cooler. If you're listening, what he's done, and again, Tox with immense amounts of TDM experience. He's got a wealth of knowledge to how to deal with a situation like this. We've got the protection this morning. Cooler gets himself a double. He's very weak, but he's got health bubbles right beside him, and he is looking pretty good to get on another run. However, 1 versus 2, it's still kind of dangerous. Tox is going to support through the teleporter on just a handful of health points, and still the benefits of a frag.
AMD looking pretty weak so far, but it looks like Medic's on death's door as well. That is a horrifically low stack. Getting caught off guard by the LG, but looking at that much health, I don't think he's going to be too worried about it. Forced to retreat a little bit, but the important thing was, again, funneling Last Chance into that back end of the map so they know exactly where they can retreat from. It's all about the map control. It doesn't matter if they don't get a kill. They have the entire map to play with.
Yeah, Ved and Yenim somehow need to get to block this rotation that Cooler and Tox have had. They get themselves the mega health, but they've got to make sure that heavy armor, that Tox and Cooler can't go to that heavy every 30 seconds and easily collect the heavy armor.
Now they can really slow down this match to a snail's pace. AMD have so much control, and Cooler just being such a thorn in their side, looking for these money angles, and it's like just the 2 rails for the price of 1 right there. And now it's a straight up 2 versus 1. That's a fight I don't think anyone wants to take, and Toxic just covering every angle. Cooler chases them one way, Toxic has the rail angle the other. You cannot escape these guys.
Absolutely perfect. Items have now just been taken. We have got Yenim, who's got the mega health on him. Tox is looking for a drop to get some damage. About 50 in total so far. It's not a lot. Long-range shotgun fights we're getting between the two. Oh,
yeah,
no.
It's important to get rid of those totems right now, especially seeing as our quad's about to spawn in 20 seconds time. Last Chance having nowhere to retreat to now in case they're weak, especially with Red Medic. That's a worrying stack to look at, even with the health bubbles he just collected.
This is really important for the Yenim and Ved to get themselves on the quad and win a power-up run. It's in 5 seconds time. Tox starting to push around the side. That's a good shotgun blast from Yenim. Ved also gets the follow-up kill. And finally, they get a quad to work with. His teammate's so low, but he's like, mate, I just need those health bubbles. Here's a totem. You take that, and I'll maybe wait for heavy. Problem is, they're losing precious time where they could be trying to secure some frags, but really getting a big run on this map is very difficult considering how large it is and how easy it is to hide compared to other smaller maps.
That's the thing, it doesn't feel necessarily like Yenim is actually really trying to seek out AMD, almost like for a split second he was holding some angles, almost like he was expecting them to come to him, and it's like, they have such a lead, they have nothing to gain by doing that. You're the one that has to kind of, you know, seek him out.
Yeah.
I know there's an element of Yenim trying to get some audio cues as well, but yeah, it's very unfortunate. Had to be a little bit more proactive, I think, with this attack there.
That's why Visor's often a popular pick on this map, because you can get that information of where are they hiding. There's so much space you've got to search around otherwise. Cooler, I think he got himself the heavy over there. Yeah, doing some damage, not taking a lot himself. He's hitting some amazing rails, but now he is railable himself, backs away. Mega health is up if anybody dares to remove themselves from the positional part of the map.
He's hitting some excellent rails, but unfortunately it's not actually bagging any frags. Finally, Ved is able to get at least 1, takes up 2. That was just an easy pickup and collect, as now they have 2 frags on the board, but they need so much more. And I'm also worried about this timer. With the general pace of this map, I definitely foresee a timeout here, and Toxic just completely surrounding him there.
Looked like a bit of panic there from Yenim. He wasn't quite sure what to do. Didn't have the right weapon out. Yenim does manage to refrag though on Tox.
Felt like a consolation frag almost, just right as you spawn, get an LG, there's a weakened Toxic. Happily take it any day of the week, but again, there's a reason AMD have slowed this down so much. You know, that they have this entire map to work with. There's only, you know, just under 4 minutes left on the clock before this map is over, and they have a significant lead. They need to sit defensive and hit those rail angles now. They have to force Last Chance to come to them, and against Cooler and Tox, who have ridiculous rails. It's such a hard task to even crack the armor here.
We have got protection going the way of Ved though. Gets rid of that turret. There's a totem down on the floor. Does he want to push through? He does take a rail shot. Mega health is there. He hits one, but 2 more rails. He's down. He's got to get the hell out of here. There's 2 25 health bubbles. There is the mega health, but I think he just wants to get some value. Okay, there's another totem for him, and it's even overstack healing. And there's another one on the floor between rockets and teleporter. You can hear the sounds of that protection wearing out.
But right as they get one of those frags, Cooler is able to collect Yenem, which kind of just resets things back to that neutral state they've been playing with for the past minute. Vedmedic's going to drop because the hot 2v1 there from AMD. And it's now actually going to be a straight-up 2v2. Cooler picks up 2 frags, making their lead even more impressive. And I'm really worried about that timer. They have so much work left to do to beat AMD here. Do they even have enough time to do what they need to do?
There's always still time. I'm sorry.
Ding.
In all honesty, they need to start the fragging right now. There we go. Thanks, Ved. The timing was perfect, but I mean, okay, it's all good and wonderful getting 1, but you need a string together like 3 or 4. You need to have that full control. I mean, you need to find them off the store. You need to start doing that incredibly soon. Then
I think they were able
to secure the power up and get the frags on the way there.
And I feel like they were able to do that on Awoken purely because of the size of the map. You know, that's why they were able to sort of pick them up off spawn, keep those combos going, but they just naturally won't be able to do the same thing on Tempest Shrine because it's like 3 times the size of Awoken.
It's good to see after Awoken that Tox and Cooler have come out, all guns blazing here on Tempest Shrine. Despite it not being their map pick, they're looking brilliant. And maybe it just felt like they had to warm into the series a bit. After they started winning on Awoken, they never really stopped winning.
Yeah, exactly. And it almost feels like one of those cases, almost kind of like when we would see Liquid take on, like, they're back in the sleep to awake days, where teams that would seem pretty untouchable in the game mode, that the second a team kind of slows the pace down and puts a lid on it, the other team is unable to kind of reach that next level and get that trump card on them. Which unfortunately kind of looks like it's happening right now, as it's just a steady lead that is continuously climbing, and it's way too significant now. I'd say borderline, this win became impossible like a minute ago.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was after I was making the point to start coming back. Tox had a nice double kill. And look, it's cool, it's actually even getting a nice quad run, but at this time for Vedmedic and Yenem, it's a bit more like we kind of have to face them and do something.
This is game over.
Yeah.
This really is game over. Like they physically here cannot get the kills they need to even tie things up, let alone get a lead and win on timeout.
Awoken's going to haunt last chance, so
I think so.
That was it.
It almost feels like some of those losses that come through, you're almost checked out. You just cannot get back up on the horse.
I think that's the way the experience comes through. I think even if Cooler and Tox lost that first map, I still think they would be very headstrong moving into Tempest Shrine. Whereas it's a bit more of a blow for someone who, or a pair of people who haven't got the extreme, like, LAN experience under their belt in the same way. And so maybe it has affected them. Or, you know, we've just speculated before that Tox and Cooler have just got a brilliant strategy moving onto this map, and they're adapting that every second, every minute.
Well, they're going to end this map being very, very happy indeed, as it's going to be AMD defeating Last Chance 2-0. And for many of us, it was the expected result, but I got to say, Last Chance really made them work for it.
Yeah, they did. I'm glad we didn't see the same close game that we saw on Awoken, but at least we got something that close. It was